Hiya, we're going to do another clip for you. This time what I'm going to do is create a background effect. I want to lighten it. I've used gesso in the last clip. In this clip I'm actually going to be using a spritzer, and rather than it having micron or a colour spritzer, it's actually a white matte spritzer. So again, it'll completely change the look of your distress inks. Get ready for inky fingers, let's play with our spritzers. The next one we're going to do, I'm going to go a little bit lighter with this one, still using director paper though, just for speed really. We're taking first of all barn doors. This is a really nice red tone, so put that on, and again use my cut and dry to actually blend the colours. And this is a quick way of applying your actual inks. Again, you can do it in sections if you want, but it does save time applying it like this. I'm going to leave a strip at the bottom just for my fingers, because I've got really mucky fingers now. This one is Wild Honey. I really like the colour tones of this. Really nice, rich, orangey brown. So again, blending that in. And then my last one that I want to use is another of my favourites. And as you watch more clips, you'll realise that nearly everything's a favourite. And this is the Dried Marigold. And I'm just going to pop that in, and again that will just make those tones a little bit warmer, and then blend those together. So we've got our blended tones. Now I want this a bit lighter, so to do this time, so if you used gesso in our previous clip, to do this one I'm going to actually spritz, and I love this. This is your Crafty Notions Creative Colour Spray, and this is a white matte spray. Again, check that out on the website. Make sure you give it a good shake, because obviously it does settle at the bottom of the bottle, so make sure you give it a really good shake, and then all you need to do is spritz. Now normally with your spritzers you'll get colour. This is going to give you white, so I'm going to be really intense on part of it, and then the rest of it hold it some distance so you don't get the intensity. Now have a look at this, it lightens it, but obviously because it's a spritzer it's going to mix gently with the actual colours of the ink. So again, it won't be a pure white, it'll get a nice blended effect. I'd normally leave this to dry naturally. I'm going to blast it with a heat gun just so we can carry on and do some more decorations for you. So give it a blast with the heat gun, and you can see that start to dry. And as it dries, it becomes even whiter. And I love this effect because again, it's something different, and it allows you just to change the tone gently of your actual ink. And have a play with different colours. I did one before, and again, look how white that one looked. I've actually sprayed it with blue by mistake, but that is exactly the same spray. So depending if you let it dry naturally, or if your inks are very wet when you spritz onto it, you'll get a different look every single time. Okay, so we've got our gentle white. If you want to create another layer, then by all means give it another spritz. You can build up your layers, so again you get different colour tones. Now what we're going to do is then create a background effect. So again, just dry this off, and we can do a bit of overstamping. So it's up to you. You can do loads of backgrounds and just put them to one side to dry off naturally if you prefer that. It's completely up to you. There we go. So we're using another swirl stamp. I love different swirl stamps. And this time we will use a barn door for doing the overstamping. So I'm not being too perfect again with the actual stamp. When you're using distress techniques, that's the beauty of it. You can really play about with your stamps. Nothing has to be 100% perfect. So just doing a little bit of stamping over here. And I'm just going to create a background first of all. Then we're going to have a go at actually creating some embellishments to put on this in the next section of our clip. So just creating that background, and that's going to be perfect. All I want to do now, take my sponge and just blend that in a little bit. I'm not going to blend it in too much, because if you blend straight away, your ink, can you see how your ink will blend all together? So if I started blending in the central panel, you will lose a bit of detail. I don't want to with this one. For this one, I do actually really like that swirl, so I want that swirl to really stand out. What I'm going to do is cut off that bottom piece. I've left that bottom piece again just for my fingers, just because I get that inky and messy that it's somewhere to hold on to. And I'm going to go around the edges now with that barn door just to intensify the edges and again frame it. Now you can still go around the edges with your sponge. If you want it really deep and really intense, pick up your colour and go around with your ink pad. And you can see how that gives it a really intense colour tone around the edges. Allow it to dry. Be careful not to touch it, because obviously if you touch it you're going to pick up all your ink. But there we go, you can create a really nice deeper colour there. If you want to, if you let your card bend, you can brush into the card and actually create even more of a frame. And you can still, if it's not perfect, you can still just drag it in gently, just to warm it up a bit, and again just to actually allow it to blend rather than being too severe. So that's going to create our frame, which we're going to play now with some ribbons and some flowers, and we're going to embellish that. But I hope you like those spritzers. Oops, Daisy. Hope you like those spritzers. They'll give you a really nice different look to your actual distress inks by lightening the actual ink. So that's your spritzers on your distress ink.